Let's start the second module. So it's about boot and package management. We'll see, we'll see more. We'll go deep into what the boot management is regarding the grub.conf file. So whatever the basic options we have seen before, we'll try to log in into. We'll restart your system. We'll see the grub page. We'll see how we can, modify the grub options and how we can log in into single user mode where we can perform some admin tasks or whatever. We'll see one quick example on how to perform that, and we'll see the corresponding options that are available on the grub.conf page. Alright, so by the end of this module you'll be able to describe the boot management process, identify package management techniques, and explain the Apt-cache package management system. We'll see all, so we'll be going through a new the new features that are related to package management. Okay, so let's start with boot management first. So the kernel boot parameters are text strings which are constructed by the system to change specific behaviors and to enable or disable certain features. Okay, so don't worry about all these arguments. As you can see here, so you will get to see this argument as a part of the grub.conf file, or when you go to the grub page. Okay, so where you can edit the arguments, then you will see all these options over there. Okay. All right. Just sure. Okay. So you will see these options either in the grub.conf file or the same file wherein we have seen an image that points to the grub page when you restart your system. All right. So at the grub page we will also get to see all these options. We will not be modifying these options much, just that we will see one single option where we will log in into the single user mode. But to have an understanding of what these options are, so here there you would get to see something called root is equal to, that corresponds to the file system. Okay, here is another new word called as file system. Okay, so you will get to hear this word. We will also be creating file systems. I hope you are aware of the Windows NTFS file system. Similarly, in Linux we have different file systems available. Alright, so on top of your raw disk, what we do is we create a file system. Okay, another layer on top of which we store the data. Alright, so for now just remember that it's a layer on top that would facilitate or that would help the users to store the data. So whenever we create a partition, we write a file system on top of it, and on top of which we store the data. So here this points to this particular argument that you will see over there. Root is equal to, it corresponds to the file system that is for the root user, and this file system can be in multiple modes. Okay, so in read only or read write mode. Okay, so here when we go to the permissions topic, alright, there we'll see different kinds of permissions. The basic ones are read, write, and execute permissions. Okay, so here this is the notation that we will be following in Linux. R stands for read, W for write, and X stands for execute. So RO is the mounted file system is in read only mode. Alright, so I hope I have given you an example regarding the mounting part, right? So similarly, what we do is when we create a partition, we create a corresponding file system, and we also mount that particular device. Okay, and that mounting happens in different modes like read only mode and read write mode. Alright, next comes something called as the initial RAM disk. Alright, and where this particular file is present, we can see all these files inside the /boot folder. Okay, and then you have init is equal to, that is the basic system initialization process and the path of the process, and then this will start executing all the other things using this particular shell sh. Okay, and like that there are other options like single user mode, booting to a specific run level, and disabling the kernel mode setting. These are some advanced features. We'll see these features later. Okay, so let's quickly see that file, and let's move on to the brub.conf page. Alright, the moment you power on the system, you will get to see the brub menu. Okay, here you have the edit options. So if you have multiple operating systems, you will see that list over here in the grub page. Okay. Okay, so once you come to this page, press E here, whatever instructions are here, press E. That would help you to list all the 3 processes inside your grub page. Okay, so one is the main root partition, which is 0,0, and then you have your kernel, so VM Linux, this is your kernel, and this is the corresponding version. Alright, and this is the mounted point. So so if you have performed the installation, we have 3 major partitions. One is the root partition, the topmost partition, under which your entire file system tree structure would remain. Okay, so that is your slash, and then that is the slash which we are representing here, and then we have the init rd image, which is your RAM disk image. Okay. So okay, so you can see here, this is, so the moment we have seen the operating system in the grub page, what you can do is press E to edit the command. Then you will see all the 3 options. Then you need to provide the argument to the kernel line, this line. Alright, so what is the argument that has been provided here? See, to the kernel RGB space quiet space single. Alright, so when you say single, it will log into the single user mode. Okay, so once you have given single, what do you need to do? You need to follow the instructions. Press enter, and then here, come here, you have pressed enter, it got stored, got saved, and once you have done that, here there is something called B. Press B to boot it. Okay, similarly what you can do is, if you have installed multiple kernels in your system, all these kernels are displayed here. After coming here, what you can do is, rather than starting with the default kernel, you can move on to the next kernel and then make your system start with that particular kernel. Alright, so all these options, whatever you can see in the grub page, you can see all those options in this grub.conf file. Alright, to add a kernel boot parameter permanently, what you can do is you can open the grub.conf file, and you can make the changes here. Here there is something called SC Linux, Security Enhanced Linux. So first of all, we will deal with the basic permissions, basic level of security, and then we have lot of other security concepts like ACL, access control list, and like that. Finally, you will get to see SC Linux. Okay, it would be in the towards the last modules, I think 7, 8 or 9. Okay, for now just remember it is all about advanced security settings in Linux. So SC Linux. Okay, so we can also set up the SC Linux mode here, alright, using the kernel boot parameter. So if you, it has been given here, but for now just remember that this is what SC Linux, it's an advanced feature. We can also set up the, here it means enforcing, enable or disabling the SC Linux. That can be done by passing the parameter to the kernel. Alright, so this particular file etc grub.conf, you will get to see all these options here. So if you can see here in this particular screen, here there are I guess 2 different kernels here, 2.6.10-390.el5, and we have another kernel here, 2.6.4, I think it's a subversion, another version. Alright, so we can restart and we can try logging into the other one as well. Let's see if that option is present. Okay, so going through all these parameters, starting from the first one, the default is equal to 0. It's a directive pointing to the default operating system to boot. That means if you have multiple operating systems, they'll be numbered as 0, 1, 2 like that. So default 0, it will start with the default operating system. Then you have the timeout. That means you will see the grub page for this many seconds. and then you have something called splash image. So it's nothing but the grub page that you see. It's an image that is stored in the system in this way, and then something called hidden menu. That means when you come to the grub page, only when you press E you will get to see all the other menu options, right? So that is what it points to here. All right, and then we have once you press that hidden menu, then it will display the below options. That means it will display the root, it will display the kernel entry, and then it will display the init.rd image. Okay, so to add a kernel boot parameter permanently, so here you can see here, right? So some of the grub.conf file has been modified. The text to be displayed in the boot menu for selecting the operating system is the first line with the next three lines specifying the location of /boot directory kernel init initial RAM disk. Okay, so I will start. I'll show this on my system as well. So to add a kernel boot parameter permanently, so this particular root hd0,0 it specifies the boot directory where you will get to see all the boot files that are present. So it is the first partition of the first hard disk. Then your kernel, this is the corresponding version that specifies the kernel location which is inside the /boot folder. This location is related to HD. This is 0,0. So HD is one kind of notation for your hard disk, and we have SC Linux related arguments. We'll see these options later. Okay, so what permissive mode is, what enforcing mode is. So both are related to SC Linux itself. Okay, so we have it here. The CentOS makes use of the script called chkconfig to enable and disable the system services running on Linux. So we have seen both these ways running on the command line. How to modify the services on the command line using chkconfig, and the graphical way is using ntsysy, ntsysv tool. Okay, so the same command, just a quick revision of what we have seen in module 1. That's written, has been shown again, chkconfig -list, and then we can specify the service in order to list that service, and then we can also modify the services in other run levels as well. Alright, next, so securing the single user mode login is an important step in terms of tightening the security. Okay, so before going into this, so we have something called single user mode, right? So that is your run level 1. Okay, so if you have forgot, I have given one simple scenario where if you have forgot the root password, what you can do is you can log into the single user mode, and then you can change the root password in the single user mode. All right, so when I say this, once I show how to do that, so you will understand that okay, this is some feature that is available. But in terms of security, you might have a question that so does this mean that any person can come, restart my system, log into the single user mode and change the root password? So then where is the security? So with respect to that, we do have an option that is available where we can block the users from entering into the single user mode. We'll see that security aspect as well. Okay, so securing the single user mode login is an important step in terms of tightening security, as anyone without knowledge of booting the system gain root access without knowing the root password by simply modifying grub menu entry. I will show you how to make this change and how to change the password. Okay, use the following steps to secure the single user mode. Okay, this is about securing it. Let's first see how to modify it in the first place. Okay, alright, so here are some steps that are given. So you need to restart your system first. So this is currently in run level 5. Let me quickly do this. I have opened the terminal. Okay, I have logged in as root. Again, I can do restart even using current. So now I have restarted my system. Okay, so if you can see here, all the messages that are coming up, we have seen this service stopping cups. So just like if you use the command service cups stop, okay, so it is showing yes, it has successfully stopped your service. Similarly, SSHD, so it refers to secure shell. If you have used it, you might have, you would know how to, I mean, if you want to log in from one Linux system to another, you would use SSH service, alright. Similarly, we have something called auto mount. I told you how to connect a pen drive and manually mount the pen drive, but if you have this feature called auto mount, automatically when you connect a device, it would get mounted and all the files in that device will be available for you. Okay, similarly, we have NTP, it's network protocol, time and date settings are available with that service, and we have something called HCL, hardware extraction layer, and networking services. Alright, so like that we have a lot of services. So one after another it will try to see. So this is your grub page. Okay, so I think by default the time limit is 5 seconds. So I have, once you press the arrow keys, it will stop at the grub page. So this is my grub page. Here are the instructions that are available. Alright. So after that, here I can press E to edit the commands before booting. So simply I can press enter, then the system will start booting. Or what I can do is, if you want to modify, press E. It will display all the three entries which are part of my grub.conf file. So in this list there is something called kernel, to which I need to maybe provide an argument that I want to log into single user mode. So press E. Alright, so this is the line space 1. Okay, you can either give single words, or you can also mention 1, enter. So after that, enter. Once I have entered, what I can do is, then here if you see, press B to boot. Okay, so the reason why we have B to boot is, you can also have 2 different kernels here. Alright, so you can choose the kernel, modify it to single user mode, and you can log into it, or you can decide which kernel you want to boot with. So I have booted. So before it lands up, let's go to the PPT. So after confirming, okay, so we have restarted the system here, and we have seen the boot page, we have seen this page as well. I've selected the kernel line, and then here the same line, it's just a different kind of indication, single user mode. Okay, then save or press enter, and then B to boot as that particular in that run level. See, similarly, you can see my system will be starting slowly, so it will land up in a shell. Okay, where we can directly, so once the system restarts in the single user mode, it will prompt you to enter the root password in the single user mode. Alright, now the shell access with the root privileges will be denied to anyone. Okay, so in this example, actually we have restricted the user, we have enabled the security such that even if you log into single user mode, so before landing up into the shell, the user will be asked to provide a root password. So this is where the root user has to provide the password, and he has to land up in the shell. This is a security measure. So what I'm showing you is wherein the system will land up. So the default one, where we land up in the shell, then we will try resetting the password for the root user. So the first scenario, once that is done, then we will see how to set up a restriction and then logging in as a root user, where we need to provide the password first and then log in into the shell. All right. So these are two different use cases. And yes. All right, it's done. So if you can see my screen, so directly I have landed in the single user mode. All right, one. Now, in order to reset the password, the command is passwd. By default, I am the root user here, right? So if I give password, it will ask for the root user password. That's it. The root password has been changed. Again, I will restart the system. So this is how we log into single user mode. Now here I'll show you how to restrict, how to set up, how to whoever just to make sure that whoever has logged into the single user mode is the root user, he is aware of the root password. So there is a restriction so that we can enable it. So what we can do here is, so if you come here, right, you need to come to the init tab file. So these are the steps in order to enable that restriction. Okay, so you need to be a root user. Okay, and if you want to restrict the users, whenever whoever logs into single user mode, we need to make sure that he knows the password and he is the right person to log in. So we need to insert this line, insert a line above it, search for init default. So I'll show you in my configuration file. You just have to go to the ending of the file. Okay, here. So there is something called init default, above which we need to mention this particular line. Okay, st:\read. So before the user logs in, okay, so he needs to provide the password. Okay. So this is how. So once you make an entry over there, then automatically you need to provide the password first before entering into the single user mode. Okay, so try this. If you have any questions, let me know on how to. So this is very simple, logging into single user mode. Try making changes in your init tab file and try logging in, see if you're able to, if the system is asking you for password or not. So we'll see, like, there are different ways of restricting the users. Even we can restrict the users from entering into the grub page itself. Okay, so gradually we'll see all the other options as well. So this is one security aspect. We'll go from slowly. We'll go from one level to the next level. All right. So this is about restricting the users. Okay. So the next one is the shutdown command. Either if you remember the run levels, you can either give init space 0, or you can also go with the shutdown command available in your system, which shuts the system immediately. There are some arguments available as well. So what you can do is you can run this command along with these arguments, and you can also echo or send a message to the users in the system that the system, you might have observed this if you are working in organizations. I think even in Windows you get to see this, that there are some updates that must be done on your system, and your system will get restarted in some time or something like that. So similarly, we can schedule the shutdown process and send out a message, echo a message to all the users who are logged in other terminals. All right. Say, okay, let my system start. I will show you. Usually, people rate if you have a Linux server, people usually connect to server from from clients, like they use putty or some other client services. All right. So in that case, there will be multiple users logging into the server from different places. So there we need to make sure that all the users are informed, or that the system is going to get restarted or something. In those scenarios, we can, as a root user, we can run this command so that all the users who are working on other terminals will get intimated. Okay, so shutdown -r argument is used to restart your system, and in case if you have initiated a shutdown, you can cancel it. Using this, you can simply practice all these arguments. These are very basic ones. So see, you can also reboot your system directly by using the reboot command, and parallelly you can use these arguments as well. So far we have seen 3 different ways of starting or shutting down your system using reboot command, okay, using shutdown, using the init command as well. Okay, so there is your question: how do you temporarily set kernel parameters in Linux? We have 2 different ways. One is the temporary way, and the other one is the permanent way. So if you want to do a permanent entry, permanently if you want to make the changes, you need to update a configuration file. And where do you get to see the kernel line where you make the changes? Just think about it. You will get to see that on the grub page. Alright, so this is all about the grub page. It's one of the very important file in Linux system. So try going through the options once again, just be familiar with it, and also try modifying these changes and cross check. You can increase the timeout, you can change the other parameters, logging into single user mode, okay, and try setting up a restriction. Check all those options, features. And the next topic is package management. Okay. All right. So in Red Hat Linux, I hope you are aware that Red Hat Linux is the commercial one and commercial version, and CentOS also has the same amount of packages like Red Hat, the same set of packages, but it is an open source version, CentOS. Okay. So here RPM is the package manager. That means the packages are available with the .rpm extension, all the packages. So if you want to install a service, there will be an RPM. That means the service package name that ends with .rpm. Okay, so this is the format. The package name, version, what is the release, and what is the corresponding architecture, either 32-bit or 64-bit, like that. Okay, so ending with .rpm. So this is all about our Red Hat package management. So there is a command called RPM using which you install the RPM packages, or you check a particular package is installed or not, or you can even see, I'm using the word package, right? So if there is a package with an extension .rpm, inside that package there could be multiple files. We can also check prior to the installation, we can also check what files are present as a part of that package. Alright, so there are a lot of arguments available even for RPM command. We'll see some important ones. So RPM provides complete software packaging, including pre and post install scripts, dependencies, meta information, and an installed software database. That means it maintains a database of all the packages that are installed in your system. So that's what I mentioned. Using different arguments, we can get to see all the installed packages, the versions, and it maintains a database of all that information. So the database of all installed software maintained on the machine comes in handy for tracking and updating, dependency verification, and software management. So you can have multiple version latest packages available. So these are some of the this is how this managing all the content information in the database would be useful just to cross-check. Say you have already installed a package. If you try installing the package once again, you'll get to see a message that this package or this particular version is already installed. Or it also when you try to install packages, it also helps it also tells you if there are any dependencies involved. You'll get to see a lot of such information when we install the packages. So we'll see all those features. So this is in general about Red Hat Package Manager. So these are the basic options that we'll be making use of: how to install a package, how to uninstall the package, how to query whether a package is installed or not, or if you are upgrading to a next level. So how do you do that? Okay, and verification, all this. Okay, it also it automatically verifies whether specific these are checksums, or whether this particular package is which kind of encryption the package is using. Okay, and yeah, it automatically RPM will report the unresolved dependencies as well. So here, when it comes to dependencies, whenever you're installing a particular package, there can be other dependencies which must be installed along with this package. See, a service might involve multiple packages. You will see that when we install the services, rather than installing just a single package, we install the dependencies as well. Okay, so RPM, what it does is, when you try to install a particular package, it will check whether there are any dependencies involved, and then it will tell you that you need to install the dependencies as well. All right, try to understand this. When installing a particular package with RPM, the RPM, if there are any dependencies involved, the RPM will display a message that you should also install these dependencies before installing this particular package. If there are any dependencies, all right, it will not install the dependencies for you. Okay, and one more thing, if you want to install a particular package using RPM, you need to download that package and you need to give that package as an argument to the RPM command. Okay. So we will also be making use of it's a command or a tool. We will also be making use of that command in order to install the packages. Just to differentiate between RPM and YAM. So RPM installs, we have to download the package and give that as an argument to RPM command to install it. All right. And if there are any dependencies, RPM will not bring the dependencies from anywhere. So you need to, it will list the dependencies. You need to download the dependencies as well, and then you need to try installing that package. Okay, which is a very, I should say, it's a very tough job, using the RPM command for installing the packages, because you never know how many dependencies are involved for a package. So it is always preferred to go with yum command. Why yum? So yum will help you to pull all the packages, whatever dependencies are there, it will pull everything and it will ask you for a confirmation to go ahead with the installation process. We'll see that. So yum is a very handy tool. So RPM is also another option available. If you have the individual RPM which does not have dependencies, you can quickly install it using the RPM command. All right. So we'll see other options on how we make use. Yes. And regarding this question, yes, Prasad, I'll cover how yum will install the packages and where it will pull the packages from. Okay, for RPM, we need to provide the package as an argument, whereas with yum command, you need not have to download any package. Okay, so we will tell yum to fetch the packages from a repository. Okay, I will tell you how to configure the repository and where these repositories are present. In general, if you have searched for Linux, any kind of RPM before, then you will know that there are many repositories present. Alright, even Red Hat maintains its own repository, CentOS maintains its repository, and there there are repositories that are that are spread around the world. We just have to if we have an internet connection, we can simply configure that repository in a configuration file related to yum and tell yum to install. We can simply just give a package name, just a related word, and automatically yum will go and pull this package and its dependencies from any of the repositories. Okay, and it will ask you for a confirmation. We'll see those options. So the main difference between RPM and yum: for RPM you need to download the package, you need to download the dependencies as well. Whereas for yum, you just have to tell yum that these packages are present in this particular repository. You go and fetch it. Then it will fetch and it will install automatically. Okay. The next one is package management tool. So we have seen the command line process on how to install the packages. Now the graphical way on how to install the packages. So you can simply type this command: system-config-packages. Let me tell you this. There are a lot of other commands. You can, if you remember, just type system-config and then tab. All right. You'll see system-config-other commands as well if you want to explore other commands. So mostly these are linked to these graphical tools that are available. So here you can see the list of packages. Okay, you can select the package and you can install those packages. You need to check this box and then click apply to install. Alright, so this is the package manager. You need to have a list of, you need to have these packages from where you can so this is the command wherein you can select the package and click to install and automatically. So this is the if you are in run level 5, it will resolve the dependencies, and this is how this tool works in the GUI mode. Okay, so similarly, so you can run this system-config-packages and you can see all the other options, installation, available packages, and how to remove the packages as well. Here the advantage is you can get to see some description about what the package is. Alright, so the process is very simple on how to install and uninstall. Okay, here we have one example regarding kernel upgradation. 1 second. Alright. Okay, so before showing you how to install the packages, let me tell you this. So if you are using Ubuntu, okay, another flavor, there you will see a complete different command. Here I have mentioned yum, yum. There you will see apt-get. So that is the installation package manager that you will be using to install the packages in Ubuntu. Okay, so there will be a small variation among this. Some of the tools that we use from one flavor to another flavor. So let's start with the yum command. First, what we'll do is yum update. Okay, so yum update will try to update your system. Just it will ensure that whatever packages that are already installed in your system, they are the latest packages. Alright, so it is recommended to use this command before you start installing any of the packages. In case if you face any kind of issues when you are installing a package, just try doing yum update first. Automatically it will try to fetch all the latest versions of the packages. It will install it, and then you can start installing the service or the packages that you want to install. So when I say latest packages means whatever packages which are already installed on your system, if there is the latest version of those packages, it will pull all those packages and it will install it. So other than that, if you're going for a different service altogether, you need to download that service and the dependencies and then install it. Okay, you can see it is listing a lot of packages. Okay, this particular package will be updated, will be updated. Alright, so I haven't used yum update command, so it is listing so many packages. I don't remember, I'm not sure about the version of CentOS I've installed. Maybe even because of that, it might be a bit older version. So that's why I prefer to do. See, so this is how yum works. Okay, so it is asking me whether it is okay to install this many. It is installing 2 new packages and it is installing, it is upgrading 80 packages. Okay, so you can see all the list here, and I'd say yes, install. Okay, so this is the same way. Even if you do yum space install space a particular package name, what it does, it will quickly search for this package and its dependencies, and then it will list here. So this summary it will list. Okay, so it will show you. Okay, this is the package that I have to install. This is the architecture, and this is the version, and this is the size. And similarly, it will display the dependencies and it will ask you for a confirmation if it is okay. So once you give yes, automatically it will download and install all those packages. Okay, and the concept wise, I mean functionality wise, even in Ubuntu, apt-get does the same. So you say apt-get space package name space install. Similarly, it will list the package as well as the dependencies and it will install it. Okay, just like we did yum space update. In Ubuntu, you can do apt-get space update command. Automatically, it will bring all the packages, latest versions of the packages in Ubuntu. Okay. So let it complete. Installing all the latest ones. See, everything ends with an RPM. Okay, what I'll do is I'll open another terminal. Yeah, this is what I was mentioning before. So here, uname is a command. Okay, so when you use this command, I hope you are aware of this, right? So if you have x86, it's a 32-bit architecture, and if it is 64-bit, it's displayed as x86_64. This is how we check whether the system is 32. I mean, most of the systems nowadays are 64-bit. So that is what it is displaying here. So this is the architecture. This is the package name. Okay, this is the version, subversion of the package. So once this is done, we will go with the installation of the other one. Yeah, here yeah, so nowadays, I mean, as far as I have seen, a lot of companies, they use Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, because they have it's a commercial one where support is available. Okay, and Red Hat people, they have their own repositories where all the latest packages are available. So simply what we do is, since we have taken a commercial version, we can simply run yum space update or yum space install a package. Automatically all the packages which are present in the repository will get downloaded to your system. Alright, Whereas when it comes to a specific package, a single package that is not available in the repository, or there are scenarios where people, they build their own RPMs. So it's like if they build new functionalities in the system, in Linux system, or in terms of developing some applications, they develop their own RPMs. We can create an RPM, all right. We can generate the list of scripts and then bundle them as an RPM. So you can take that as a scenario where you are using an RPM command individually that is specific to that application. Or there are packages which may not have dependencies. You can even download those packages and install. But most of the time, it's like most of the packages are present in the repository, so we prefer the yum command. So you can take RPM as regarding the other example I've seen where the package is bundled, say a new feature has been bundled into an RPM, or yeah, that is there. Or you can also consider this scenario. So there are companies who may not, blindly install whatever packages that the guys give. Say Red Hat guys give. What they do is once again they perform their own checks. Okay, they try to add some more features into that RPM package. So what you do is, as I've said, we can list all the content of the RPM package. We can extract the contents of the RPM package. You add some more scripts to that package. You tell that before you install this, I also want you to check these things, or I want you to restrict these users. Alright, so it's like pre and post installation scripts you can add to the RPM package. You can create an RPM of your own, and then you try installing it on all the systems. Right. So like that, there can be many different use cases where RPM command is also useful and yum command is also useful. Okay. Okay. Let's go to slides now. Okay, so this is the output of uname -a. Alright, so starting from here, we'll see more arguments. So the first one is about RPM-QA grep-i kernel. Alright, so see grep. So how often we are using this command. Alright, so let's see first. Oh my god, still installed. Alright, go through the RPM command, RPM-QA. See what it is. So it is displaying all the packages that are installed in your system along with the version numbers. Alright, so Q, I think it's query the database and display all the packages that are installed in the system. Okay, you can see the man page for RPM here. So -a is for all, display all the packages, and you can even see even your man page is just like your VI editor. Okay, I searched for something, I'll press N to go to the next. Q for query. Alright, just like your man page, you can search for the words here. Q for quit. Finally, so this is how we query the man page. I'm sorry, we use the RPM command. So you will see there are some more options here. If you want to know the kernel name, in fact, you need not have to grep for the kernel here, but we'll check both grep-i kernel. This is the one. Okay, uname command itself will give you the version of the kernel. You need not have to go and grep it. Okay, the next is here. So here there is a quick example given on regarding this RPM, making use of the RPM, what has been given as, so there is a kernel which is already installed along with the operating system. So here what we are trying to do is there is a new patch available for the kernel. Alright, so here see RPM, using this RPM command, that particular patch has been downloaded. Alright, so RPM-IVH, so this is the RPM that has already been downloaded. Okay, so we need to download this and then we need to install this patch. So once this patch has been installed, so what happens is, corresponding to this particular package, this RPM, you will see all the three files again. Okay, that means this VM Linux, so all the three VM Linux, and then you have your init RD image, and then you have the config file, just like you have a single kernel and the corresponding files in your system. The moment you install the patch, again you will get to see the other files in your system. Okay, so here what he has done is he has added a new entry. So we can, that's what I have mentioned before, you can boot your system with multiple kernels. You just have to make an entry in the grub.conf, restart your system, select this kernel, and then you boot your system. That's what you can do in order to test the latest kernels. Okay, so for now I'll not be downloading this latest patch. You can try this on your phone. If you have any issues, let me know. I'll just go on with the next topic. So the only thing is, check your current kernel version, uname -a, or you can also go for rpm-qa pipet grep-i kernel. Okay, and then so you can also just compare the kernel that is given here. If you have the same one, check for a next patch. A lot of kernels are available, a lot of repositories are available. You can easily get the kernel. Just make sure that the corresponding version numbers are there, which are the kernel you're searching for should have a next level version numbers. So download that kernel. So after downloading that RPM, simply install the RPM. Installing in the sense it will only create these files. Okay, so you need to make exactly the same entry in the grub.conf. Whatever is there, just copy these lines. I hope you remember how to copy and paste YY and P. Okay, for YY and P, make another entry and then modify these lines corresponding to the new kernel. Other than the version number for VM Linux and init RD, rest of the arguments would remain the same. Okay, and this version as well. So the syntax would remain the same, only the version number would change. So you'll have two entries for your kernel. The next time you restart your system at the grub.conf, you will get to see two different kernels. Okay, so let me also tell you this. In case you have done something wrong and you are unable to log in normally in the run level, we have already discussed about single user mode. Okay, where you can log in and you can delete the second configuration you have created and you can restart your system. And one more important thing, it is always mandatory to create a backup of the configuration files. Do not touch the configuration file, touch the original configuration file. I mean, always keep a backup. The moment you feel that you want to make a change in a configuration file, say grub.conf, first take a copy that as grub.conf.back or something, so you have your original file saved. Okay, so even if you mess this file grub.conf, something you have made wrong and you are unable to log into the system, what we can do is we can log into single user mode. We have a backup file already. Copy that backup file again, you rename it to grub.conf and you restart your system. Right, so this is how we can fix the issues, and it is very, very important that we have a backup of the configuration files. Alright, so you can try the same in the same way. Take a backup, download the new RPM, hit the change address, and try logging into the new kernel, logging with the new one. Okay, so yeah, rpm-i is the command to install. rpm-qa, wcfnl, wc is for word count. Okay, So it will word count, and we have some arguments here. L will list, it's like the number of entries, okay, that this command will output. So rpm-qa will list all the number of all the packages that are installed, and we want to know how many, what is the number, then we can pipe it and say wc space -l, it will list the number. Okay, if you want to check if FTP is installed or not, this is the command, file transfer protocol. Alright, and see, this is another important one, QI. So this command queries the RPM database and returns the information about the package, including the package name, version, release date, and the description of the package. So in the command, in that command system-config-packages, you will see a graphical tool where you can select the package and install the package. There at the bottom we have seen a description for the package. Whereas using command line, if you want to see the same description, what you can do is you can simply give -i as an argument to it. Next one is rpm-qf. This command determines which RPM package given file is associated with. Okay, -ql. Okay, see. So you have installed a particular package. All right. So what happens is, unless while installing, unless you say -iv, v means purpose, it will display all the set of operations that it is performing. All right. Say a package is already installed in your system. Okay, so when this you are not there at the time of installation, and you want to know what are all the configuration files that are part of this package. So someone, say this is the example, someone has installed FTP. Okay, so here if you see, right, corresponding to FTP, these are all the list of files which are part of that RPM. Okay, so when you install FTP package, so something gets stored in user bin, something in the same FTP, PFTP, and you will also see. So corresponding to FTP, there are man pages that are present here in this location. So if you want to check man pages for all the commands, go to this location. User share man. Under this folder, you will get to see all the man pages for all the commands. So with every command or with every service you install in your system, there are also man pages associated to that service. They would get installed in your system. Okay. So sometimes what happens is, so while browsing, you get to see there are a lot of commands. You get to see some command and you want to try to check the new functionality. And when you try that command, it will say command not found error. That means that package is not installed in your system. What you can do is you can do simply yum install that package name. If it is a command, you need to check which package that command belongs to. And some package names and command names are almost the same. You need to install that command. When you install it, that command, that binary as well as the corresponding man pages would get installed. Then only you will get to see the corresponding man page for that command as well. Okay, you can go through all the other options that are available here, a few other arguments. So it does all these checks, the RPM command. You can also make sure that, rather than upgrading, you can have 2 different packages installed in your system, I suppose. Alright, so yeah, so here this is about the upgrade option. You can even try that. So what you can do is you can directly provide the link, whatever repositories I said, you also get those repositories like methods. Okay, this is a Red Hat CentOS repository from where you can install it. So this is the FTP link. So this RPM is present in an FTP server. You can download and upgrade it or install it. Okay, so this is another command, the removal process. So when you just like you install the process along with the dependencies, we can also remove the packages along with the dependency or without the dependencies as well. Okay, so this is the option. use -no deps. Okay, we can install the packages without the dependencies as well. Okay, so but we have to explicitly say that I don't want the dependencies to be installed in the system. Alright, the next one is yum. As I have mentioned before, just like RPM, yum would also have yum install, yum remove, yum upgrade. We can perform all kinds of operations using yum. The only difference is yum will have a configuration file for it. Okay, where we define where yum should go and fetch the RPMs. We define the repository from where yum can go and download all the RPMs on its own. Okay, usually if you have a Red Hat, if you have this Red Hat license, they will provide you the Red Hat, this repository, or you can keep a repository in your company itself, and that location must be specified. It must be specified in the configuration file from where yum will go and fetch it. Okay, so this is the directory structure, etcm.repos.d, where we have multiple repository files that are created. You can have multiple repositories. So if yum by default will follow the order, it will search for first repository if not available. It will search for other repositories as well. So you can have multiple repositories. You just have to configure it. So these are some of the arguments. You can configure the repository and make it available. Or you can disable it or enable it, but you can have a prior configuration. And these are some of the checks. Some packages. So it's not like every package you download from the internet will have this signature. That means which ensures that this package is safe. So that if you have your own Linux procs and you simply do the yum install, it might search the repositories online and it will fetch from some location and will try to install the package. But if you want to ensure that whatever you install is safe, we can have this GPG checks enabled in our system. Alright, and the next one is setting up a repository. Okay, so in order to set up a repository, what we need to do is we need to install this package first, that is create repository, and then we need to run this command. Then it will set up the initial repository first. Okay, so it's pretty simple setting up of the repository. So it's like creating an empty container. Okay, that's what the create repository command will do. Then what you can do is, see, at the time of installation process, you will get to see a lot of packages which are present in your CD or DVD. Okay, but we will not install all the packages. We will install some basic packages, and on a need basis, we go with the installation of the rest of the packages. So when we want to install at a later point of time, so rather than downloading it or copying it from somewhere, what we can do is we can create our own repository and copy these packages, all the packages which are present in your drive, to that location. So creating a repository, we are creating our own repository and copy all the packages to that repository, and then this is how we configure the yum repository, a local yum repository. Okay, so first install this, it creates the container, copy all the RPMs to that container. Alright, once you have done, you create this. So create repo-d. So what happens is it will create all the metadata and the corresponding information. Okay, so once this is done, what you can do is you can clear the cache once. Okay, and then you can list all the packages that are available in the repository. And whenever you say yum install a particular package, it will go and fetch that package from your local repository. So these are all the arguments that are available along with yum. So when you say yum install FTP, it will go and dependencies resolved. It will pull the packages. Okay. So rather than pointing your repository to some location outside, So you can have your own local if you're not connected to internet, you want to install a package, and if it is available, right? If it is readily available, rather than copying it from other source, what you can do is you can create a repository along with your operating system. You'll get all the packages. You can keep all the packages in the repository and simply use the yum command to install the package. Automatically the installation will happen. So manually you will not have to. Right. When you install your operating system, as a part of your operating system, you will have all the set of packages available for you. So you can copy all those packages and keep it in a create a repository rather than installing everything in the first time itself. So on a need basis, you can keep unnecessary packages. You can keep it in your repository and install at a later point of time when you have a need. All right, or you take another example. Okay, say you're part of an organization. Rather than allowing people to download the packages from outside or from other repositories, you can maintain a repository inside your organization, to which all the Linux systems can be pointed to that repository, so that people will start installing the packages from the local repository itself, rather than going and pulling the packages from some other repository. So it all depends on a need basis, but at least you will get to know that okay, this is the process, this is the package I need to install, this is how I create a local container or local repository, this is where I can keep my packages for it is very easy, right? Going forward, when you start using yum command, you will understand. Simply yum install a particular command, automatically pulls the dependencies. So what I would suggest is first try using an RPM command, get some open source. I'll tell you some utilities which may not be available by default. So try using RPM. It will list the dependencies, because I have faced such scenarios where it will list a dependency. I have downloaded the dependency. Again, it will ask another dependency for the dependency itself. So sometimes it goes on asking and asking. So you will get irritated downloading dependencies and installing. So yum would really help you. So if you have a repository setup like that, so simply using yum will pull the dependencies and it will install it. It's just a matter of seconds. So yeah, update command, all are same like RPM. You can use yum. So it will simply pull and install everything. Okay, here there is an example service given here. Alright, this is all about creating a different repository. Okay, let's go through this. So we have seen all the arguments of yum so far, right? So the next thing is, so you have created a repository. So we can enable a HTTP service on top of that repository. So when I say HTTP service, what happens is, okay, see this page. So when you hit that particular service, you'll get to see all the packages like this. So like you wanted to know where I can use RPM command, you can download these individual packages. So this is where a HTTP service would be helpful for you. So we'll see how to configure a HTTP service. So though understanding services is it's too early to start knowing about services, but we'll go through some basic options. I'll tell you how to what exactly this is about. So if you have seen here HTTP service, that means you have all your RPMs located at some location. Okay, HTTP, as you know, it's a protocol using which we connect to that location. We list everything whatever is present over there. So we are trying to access these RPMs over HTTP service. Okay, so HTTP, a server or a service, and HTTPD is the underlying daemon. Okay, so I'll tell you. Let me tell you one what do you say, workflow kind of thing. So whenever it comes to a service, so by default we'll be following a few steps. Okay, the first step, any kind of service that we are going to install that we're going to see in the future modules about the installation and the configuration part, configuring services. Okay, so starting with HTTP, any service. So first of all, the first thing is what is the service. So understanding what it does primarily. Okay, this is a service. For example, cups. Okay, it's a printing service. It helps to connect your system to the printers in your network, and using which you can give prints. Okay, so just having an understanding of what the service is. The next important thing is what are the packages involved. Okay, so for this you may not. There are two ways. Either you remember the set of packages, or you can simply do yum install cups. Okay, so 99% of the time it will pull the packages, all the corresponding packages that are associated with the cup service. Okay, so it will list all the packages along with the dependencies. You install the service. Once you have installed the service, the next step is you need to configure the service. Okay, check the status using etc init.d cups status. It's stopped. So we have installed it, we haven't started it. Then what we do, there are configuration files associated with the service. Okay, so we need to know where these configuration files are present. Okay, then we go to the corresponding configuration file, make the changes. Once you have made the changes, we start the service. Okay, now the service is started. Then we enable the service in that particular run level, so that the next time we start the service, along with the system other processes, the service also gets started. Okay, so this is the server configuration. Okay, then we will see the client configuration. So how to configure your client which makes use of your service. So basically two things, server and a client. So we configure the server which serves the clients. The clients, if at all there is some configuration needed from the client side as well, we'll see similarly what is the client package, what exactly client does, what kind of a service it gets from the server, how to install it, and how to make use of the services. So this flow is the same. I will keep repeating this with every service that we do. So what is the service, what is the important, what is the configuration, what changes you have to make, how to enable the service, how to enable it permanently, and then what is the client, how we make use of it. Okay, so now we have started the HTTP service. So yum info httpd, it will give you all the information. Okay, see here, yum install httpd star. Automatically, as I said, it will list all the packages corresponding to HTTP service. Alright, so once we have installed that service, what happens is, okay, so okay, I'll do one thing. Since we are running out of time, I'll just, whatever flow I talked about, we'll see that flow, and I'll explain more details in the next session. Okay, so this service, first step, yum install httpd start. So we have installed the service. Okay, the next step is there is a configuration file corresponding to HTTP. The location is etc httpd conf httpd.conf. This is the configuration file corresponding to that service. Alright, so we go to the this service. By default, every service listens at a particular port. That means by default, every server will respond to the client requests at a default port. For HTTP, it is 80, and it is also possible to change the default port. Okay, so here what we do is we just open the configuration file. We make some basic changes in the configuration file. We define that, so this is the port number, or these are some of the other files with respect to the service. Okay, so once that is done, okay, so here we'll see HTTP service means we are hosting some web pages here. Alright, so we'll say that this is the folder where I'm going to keep my HTML files, or this is the folder where I'm going to keep my other scripts which will get executed when this web page is displayed. Like that, we define some basic configuration. We put some restrictions that these users can only see my page, these are not allowed, or these groups can see my pages, like that. We set up some restrictions. So once that is done, what we do is we permissions. We haven't seen this so far. We give permissions to that repository, who all can modify those folders or files. Once that is done, we have started the service. Service HTTPD restart. Okay. Now the service is up and running. So once the service is up, so this is the host on which we have installed the service, followed by CENT. So this is the folder where my HTML files or some content, whatever I want to store, I've stored the content in that location. So once the service is up and running, if you hit that location, you will get to see all the files that I have copied to that location. Okay, so this is how. So if you have users in your network, even your users, if you have given access to them, they can hit this link and they can download the RPM. So basically, what you are doing is, here you have created a shared folder and you have kept everything in that, and this can be accessible by other users in your network. So this is one kind of service, that is HTTP service. Alright. So again, next what you can do is, see, this is how you manually download it. You can access the service and you manually download an RPM and install it. Now what you can do is, you can configure yum. Alright, inside the yum.repos.d, you can create a configuration file and say that yum can query this HTTP service and install the packages. Whatever packages it wants, you go and get it from this HTTP service. It will be available in this location. Alright, so HTTP basically, that is the service it provides to yum. Okay, so once that is done, yum clean all, it cleans the cache and all, and then so every time you modify something, you need to refresh it so that it pulls the latest configuration. So once that is done, you can list and see all the list of packages that are available in your service. Okay, so that's it. Again, installing the files using yum. Okay, so to an extent, I was a bit fast in explaining the HTTP service. The flow will be the same with respect to all the services. I will keep repeating the same steps with respect to every service. I will keep comparing it, and I would also walk you through these steps once again in the next session. You might be running out of time, so just these last slides I made it a bit quick. I will definitely go through all these topics once again. Alright, but I'm sure that there are too many commands that we have seen. So please go through all the commands. You need not have to go to the server part, HTTP server and all, but go through all the commands we have seen today, yum, RPM and all the rest. Please practice and practice well before coming to the next session, so that it will be easy for you, to understand and go to the next level. There are a lot of other important topics that we'll be covering in the next session. So that's all for today's session. Thank you all. Hope when compared to yesterday, we didn't have much problems today. Also, please go through the topics that we have additional, assignments that are given. Please go through them, and you can always ask me questions. You can send your queries to support@edureka.co. I'll be reaching those requests, so at any point of the day, I'll be helping you with all your queries. Alright, so that's pretty much for the day. So you can go through the agenda for the next class as well. And finally, there are some important links that we have provided here. Please go through the links if you get time. There are a lot of information available. So that's all from my side. So thank you so much.